What's up guys, my name is Ace, and it looks like Call of Duty is in need of a big shift, at least when it comes to how they're handling multiplayer compared to the past couple of years. And I'm not talking about really specific gameplay related changes or really anything specifically. I'm looking at this more from a big picture lens. Now, the last big shift that we saw with the Call of Duty multiplayer experience was with Modern Warfare 2019. They really shook things up with that game. They changed a lot of things around, and that seemed to work very well, short term at least. That game sold incredibly well, and despite me not liking a lot of the multiplayer gameplay decisions, it was undeniably a very popular Call of Duty title. Since then, with Cold War as well as Vanguard, things seem to just continue to be going downhill quite rapidly. And honestly, I feel like right now, this is the worst state I've ever seen Call of Duty's multiplayer in when it comes to overall popularity and relevancy. Last year with Cold War, it was pretty rough. That game definitely wasn't very popular, especially compared to Modern Warfare. And now this year with Vanguard, it seems to be even worse than Black Ops Cold War. And I'm not talking about the quality of the games or quality of the gameplay experience. I'm just talking about the popularity and relevancy of its multiplayer. And this trend is not looking good for Call of Duty's multiplayer. Now, I do think the popularity of these games is affected by a wide range of factors, so I'm going to be honing in on a few that I think are very important and could be turned around. But honestly, I feel like one of the biggest factors is simply the setting of the game. I think a lot of the reasons Vanguard isn't as popular as it could be or should have been is just due to the fact that people didn't want a World War II shooter this time around. And even last year with Cold War, while it wasn't a World War II shooter, it was still a shooter that was set in the past. And I just don't think that's currently appealing to the Call of Duty audience. I think a lot of people were very relieved to finally get into the modern times with Modern Warfare 2019. And in many ways, at least setting-wise, it felt like a step back to be going back in time and using World War II weapons or Cold War weapons and equipment. Additionally, it can't be ignored that Warzone has likely had a very massive negative effect on the multiplayer experience for Call of Duty since it launched, and Warzone wasn't around when Modern Warfare launched, so I don't think that really harmed the sales or the popularity of its multiplayer experience early on, because there was no other alternative there within the Call of Duty universe. Whereas now, a lot of players strictly play Warzone, or they only play the multiplayer so they can level their weapons up to take into Warzone, and their primary focus is now on Warzone rather than multiplayer. So I do feel those factors are very important when looking at the apparent failure or downward trend of Call of Duty's multiplayer over the past couple of years. However, I do think there's something else that is very important that may be overlooked. And I honestly feel a lot of this downward trend that we're seeing is simply us seeing the more long-term effects of the drastic changes that they made to the Call of Duty formula with the launch of Modern Warfare 2019. And the primary things I'm talking about here with this drastic shift with Modern Warfare 2019 include the implementation of the new matchmaking style of system. So it's like engagement optimized or performance optimized matchmaking system. Unlike the previous system where they did have some skill-based matchmaking, but it was a totally different style of system. That combined with the disbanding lobby, so it's constantly reforming your lobby after every single game, which eliminates a lot of the consistency. Also, the elimination of traditional prestiging in Call of Duty in exchange for seasonal leveling that resets with every season. And then another big thing I noticed with this shift with Modern Warfare 2019 is it seemed like they took a lot of the focus away from in-game engaging challenges and rewards for those challenges in exchange for many more time-played style of rewards. So it doesn't really matter what you do in the game or how good you are at the game. All that matters is how much time you put into the game to get those rewards. Now, I do think in the short term, this was great. Modern Warfare 2019 seemed to bring back a lot of Call of Duty players from way back in the day that hadn't touched the franchise in a very long time. It also seemed to bring a lot of brand new players into the Call of Duty franchise. However, I feel like a lot of these changes that they made are not good for the long-term success of the franchise, and we're really seeing the results of this with how much burnout has happened in the Call of Duty franchise for many players that have been extremely dedicated Call of Duty fans year after year. And I do feel the biggest offender of this is the introduction of the new style of matchmaking system with Modern Warfare 2019, combined with the disbanding lobbies, so it's constantly resetting itself between each game. This is the type of system that is excellent at attracting brand new casual players. It makes the game a lot more accessible to them because they're not getting stomped constantly by top tier players that have been playing the franchise for 15 years. Additionally, many of the people that burnt out with CoD a long time ago, this was refreshing. They could get back into it. It was easy to get back into because, again, they're not getting stomped on the people that have been grinding hard like crazy over the years. So as that short-term solution, that was great, and it was obviously very successful, and I think it was important to shake things up, at least to some degree, in the short term, in order to bring some new players into the franchise and bring people back into the franchise. However, when you think about this long term, and I've been saying this over the past couple years, I don't think this is a good solution because it seems this has caused a ton of burnout with those really dedicated long-time Call of Duty fans that have been playing the franchise year after year. So many of those people felt pushed away and alienated by these systems because it no longer really felt that great to be good at Call of Duty. In the past, there was so much incentive for people to want to get good at Call of Duty because you were heavily rewarded for that, and you could see that over time in your gameplay performance. There was consistency with that as well, and so much of that got thrown out the window with this new matchmaking system. Additionally, the reason this is only good as a short-term solution is a lot of those new players that you attract to the franchise by implementing this matchmaking system. What happens when they start to get better? What happens when they reach that level where they realize that it's not really all that rewarding to get good at the game? Once you reach that certain skill ceiling, the game sort of feels hollow. There's not much incentive to continue pushing to get better and better at the game because you're not really rewarded for doing so. So I think a lot of what we're seeing right now in the Call of Duty franchise and this downward trend that we've been seeing in its popularity is simply due to burnout from this system. Additionally, and going hand in hand with that, disbanding lobbies. I feel like this is something that has almost entirely destroyed the community aspect of Call of Duty. So much of Call of Duty's heart and soul was lost the moment they started disbanding lobbies constantly, because now there's no point in really even interacting with the randoms that you run into in games. There's no friendships or rivalries that you develop. And instead of hopping on for a gaming session where you might stick in the same lobby for hours on end, playing with the same people over and over again because you're having a great time playing with and against those particular people, that has been stripped away from the community entirely. And now a lot of that gameplay experience just feels hollow. It feels like a shell of its former self because that entire layer of community and multi-game adaptation to the players that you're playing against is just gone now with Call of Duty. And again, I think we're really seeing the burnout from that long term. Next up, let's talk about the fact that they eliminated the old school prestige system in exchange for seasonal levels that just reset every single season. This is another area where I think we're just seeing more long-term burnout with this. I think that was great for player retention within the first year or so of Modern Warfare because it gave you something to chase constantly throughout the entire life cycle of that game from start to finish. Whereas in the past, I think a lot of people, once they reached that Prestige Master, they were sort of done with the game because they feel like there was nowhere else to progress to. Now, while I feel the traditional Prestige system wasn't perfect, and there's absolutely room for improvement with that system, the one thing I really liked about that system is it never really felt like it was a job to hop on and play. And I think a lot of the burnout we're seeing is also due to the fact that we have these seasonal levels where you're just slogging away at these levels season after season, only to have it reset so you can start from scratch the next season. There's no real long-term end goal in sight when it comes to leveling up your character and leveling up throughout the year of Call of Duty and sort of beating that Call of Duty game. For many people, beating a Call of Duty game meant reaching Master Prestige. And that was that long-term goal that they had every time they hopped on, and they knew that level wouldn't just be taken away from them once a new season began or once the next Call of Duty launched. So I think this is another thing that has caused a lot of burnout with people, is it just feels like, what's the point of grinding season after season after season if there's no end game? There's no long-term goal with that. And this leads into the last part of this that I wanted to talk about. I'm sure I could pull out more of these factors as well, but these are the primary ones that came to mind at least. And this is more of a focus on time played and player retention. It seems like a lot of the design decisions that they make in Call of Duty these days are simply chasing metrics. They're chasing player retention rather than just providing a really great and rewarding and engaging experience that will naturally lead to more player retention. When I look back to old school Call of Duty, where you could unlock calling cards and emblems and stuff for actually doing things in-game and completing specific and very engaging challenges in-game to unlock a particular calling card to show off, that was exciting, and that was often the reason that I would decide, like, hey, I'm gonna hop on, I'm gonna work toward getting that calling card, or I'm gonna try and get all of the calling cards and go for that 100%er, or whatever it might be. There were tons of options for really engaging challenges that you could complete in-game, and that was the primary focus, and that's what led to a lot of the player retention. These days, it seems like they've really transitioned away from that, and now most of the challenges are just focused on trying to get you to play as much as possible, even if those challenges aren't very engaging. A great example of this are the various challenges that we've seen over the past few years, where instead of getting X number of kills, like get 300 kills using this gun or this particular setup or something like that, now it's get 3 kills with that particular setup in 15 different matches. That first type of challenge is much more engaging and much more exciting to go for because the better you do, the faster you're going to be able to complete that challenge. Whereas the second form of challenge, it's very clearly just designed to milk as much playtime out of you as possible, rather than giving you something engaging to work toward. You could be a super low skill player or the best player in the game. It's going to take you the exact same amount of time to complete that challenge, which is obviously not very exciting or engaging to be completing that challenge. And I'm sure this has been effective for them at increasing those player retention metrics because it exploits the psychology of players where those completionists, those players that want to get that challenge done or feel like they need to get that challenge done, they're going to slog through those 15 matches and they're going to put the time in to make sure that happens. The big issue with chasing these metrics by exploiting psychology like this is it will also be leading to burnout. Because that player's experience isn't that great while grinding through that challenge. They're not really enjoying grinding through that challenge because it's not an engaging challenge, it's just a challenge designed to suck as much playtime out of them as possible. If you're just looking to temporarily pad those player retention numbers to look good for the shareholders, this works just fine. However, long term, this leads to more burnout with the game because players are less engaged and having a less enjoyable experience while grinding through the rewards of the game. And we do see a similar story with a greater focus on the Battle Pass. Now, I'm not completely against Battle Passes. I think Battle Passes can be used very well, and I'll definitely take Battle Passes over supply drops. But the problem with putting too much focus on the Battle Pass system, like we see now, where most of our cosmetic rewards, or at least most of the good cosmetic rewards, are contained in the Battle Pass, or you have to purchase straight up, I feel this is just another one of those techniques to try and squeeze as much playtime out of people as possible, and it's not engaging because, again, Battle Pass progression is simply due to time played. It doesn't matter how good you are at the game or how efficient you are at completing a specific type of challenge. All that matters is that you're putting the time in, and that's not engaging. So I really feel like a lot of those decisions they made with Modern Warfare 2019, when they made that shift, they were designed to exploit psychology in order to pad stats to look good to shareholders. And again, short term, I'm sure that worked out great. However, long term, it leads to burnout when you're not creating an engaging experience that players want to be grinding toward, rather than feeling that compulsive need to be grinding toward and simply putting the time in without really having an engaging experience while putting that time in. And all of those factors combined that I just talked about in this video, I feel are strongly leading to the decline of Call of Duty's multiplayer. And I fear that if the franchise continues down this same path and we don't see a correction to this, it's going to be terrible for the future of this franchise, at least when we're talking about multiplayer. Now, of course, these are just my thoughts and opinions on this whole situation and the apparent decline of multiplayer when it comes to Call of Duty. Of course, I want to hear from you guys in the comment section below. Do you agree with much of what I'm saying here? Do you think a lot of the decline is actually coming from the decisions that were made a couple years ago and we're just now seeing the long-term results of that? Or do you think it's primarily just due to other factors like the introduction of Warzone and perhaps the setting of the game? Just let me know those thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.